I bet you guys are wondering, who's that person in front of my screen? Don't worry, you guys. I too am wondering what I'm doing here. I'm joking. I had to replace Yvan because I was getting tired of watching his face all the time while I watch a video from PsyPoints. So I replaced them. Anyways, welcome to PsyPop. In this series, we'll be tackling how pop culture or something in pop culture has displayed a phenomenon where we can learn from it in the context of psychology and mental health. If you like this series and don't want to miss out on future episodes, don't forget to show us support by liking or subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get notified whenever we post new content. Anyways, before we get straight into the topic, I, Chumi, would like to ask you guys a question. Have you ever heard of the term canceling someone? You know, have you ever scrolled through TikTok minding your own business, then suddenly you watch a video of someone calling out somebody very angrily, and then you look at the comments and it's like you're back in Salem hunting down witches, wanting to burn them down at the stake? If that's the case, then you have probably heard or witnessed or participated in cancel culture. However, if you've never experienced that, then I think it's safe to assume you're a pretty nice person. Go you. Anyways, what is cancel culture? Cancel culture is defined by a Newport Institute is the act of boycotting and publicly shaming an individual or group for a real or perceived transgression. The kind people are most familiar with will be how it is done through online social media platforms. For example, constant public shaming on sites like Twitter, TikTok, dislike bombing, especially when the dislike button was still a thing on YouTube. RIP. Anyways, review bombing, which is, basically leaving negative reviews on a product, not for objective criticism of the said product, but as an attack to the person or the company that produced the said product. An example of this would be Genshin players review bombing numerous games of Hoyoverse, which was then called MiHoYo, by the way, to complain about the horrible anniversary rewards given to the player base. Several applications actually fell victim to this as well. It wasn't just Hoyoverse games, it was also games like Mobile Legends Bang Bang, all that stuff, and many more. In many ways, it can be seen as an attempt at basically trying to commit a social lynching of an individual or group until they either make a public apology or go off the grid. Basically, they just become a hermit. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that, honestly. Being a hermit must be nice sometimes. Anyways, oftentimes these go beyond even after said public apologies, as it is rare for a cancel target to ever fully recover from being cancelled as something that forever lingers on their history. So there are actually several factors that get into cancel culture. You can't just say, oh, cancel culture is basically just canceling someone. If you want to learn more in-depth details about cancel culture, of course you have to learn about the several factors that get into cancel culture, and one of them is actually called mob or herd mentality, and this is how it comes into cancel culture. Before that though, we have to define it first. And to define mob or herd mentality, it is a phenomenon where individuals have been influenced enough to follow the larger group. If you want to visualize it, just think of a bunch of sheep and then a shepherd dog, and then the shepherd dog barks, and then the other sheep follows the dog that's barking, and then the rest of the sheep follow the sheep that's following the dog that's barking. You guys get that? Well, if that doesn't make sense, another type of way to visualize it is you think of birds following along into one group during the migration season. Okay, at least once in our life we have fallen victim to conforming to the majority, regardless if what they're doing is right or wrong. So how can mob mentality be seen in social media? First, it can be seen by the type of content posted on their respective accounts. Most of the time, in order to receive validation, they would focus on posting content that is trending or well-liked by the majority, even if it comes at the cost of their uniqueness. Of course, mob mentality isn't just witnessed on cancel culture. As you can see in social media, there's a lot of people that follow the same type of trends, mainly because it's trending, and whatever's trending appeals to the majority, which means you're gonna get more likes, more follows, more validation from strangers online, because you posted the type of content that's well liked by everyone. So that's how mob mentality works in social media. Actually, there's this thing called the bystander effect, which is defined as a phenomenon wherein even if a conflict is occurring, the public still choose to ignore it and continue on with their day. The bystander effect can actually be seen in arguments wherein, due to group thinking setting, it influences the users with an us versus them kind of attitude, aka those with different opinions from the majority is usually the wrong one. In turn, even if it's morally wrong in nature, the bystander effect can still occur. Why am I saying these things? It's because of mob mentality, the bystander effect also occurs. Because, for example, if a person says, oh, this person is wrong, or oh, this opinion of this thing is wrong, a lot of people are gonna agree with that because that's what majority of the people are saying. So that's how mob/herd mentality actually comes in cancel culture. In cancel culture, the phenomenon of mob mentality can also be seen working in tandem with bystander effect, as online users take the drama as a chance to bring awareness to something someone did. It then becomes a highlight reel of the worst actions committed by a single group, or maybe even just a person. Regardless of how long ago the actions were, any attempts at redemption or additional size in the situation, as you know, it doesn't really matter, as more people get into the trending dislike of a single entity will no longer have any effect. Basically, even if you try to redeem yourself, too many people hate you, and too many people don't even want to learn about the context of what you did, of what behind what you did. So because of that, it doesn't really matter even if you try to redeem yourself, because there's a trending dislike that's aimed towards you who is being cancelled. Remember though, not all users start a cancel thread out of good intentions. You know, example of this is you spread awareness on the crime they did and all that stuff. But let's just say that there's a saying that goes, bad publicity is still good publicity, meaning that others could have joined along as a chance to make themselves known, even if they're initially aware of the additional damage that it may cause as a result. Alright, so for example, a lot of people also participate in the canceling trend, mainly because a lot of people are aware of it and they want to take advantage of the popularity that they can get from canceling someone. That's how it becomes canceling, but exploited in a bad way. Alright, that's how I see it, and I hope I explained it properly. Anyways, moving on from mob/herd mentality, there's another factor called toxic tribalism. To explain toxic tribalism, it's strong negative emotions such as, I don't know, like disgust or anger or outrage even. It may play a significant role in contributing to cancel culture. Another factor that is key and is relevant to mob mentality is toxic tribalism. As part of growth, young people often find the need to associate themselves with a group in order to formulate an identity. The issue with this is that in adopting the practices of a certain group, they may also adopt certain practices that are, well, you know, it might contain certain prejudice or like racist remarks and all that stuff. Basically, it's anchored towards very judgmental or hateful perspectives. And because of that, they adapt to these perspectives because they think it's okay, because they want it to be accepted or they want to be part of that group. To quote directly from Newport Institute's article, they try to form angry, bigoted attitudes. Yes. Anyways, toxic tribalism happens because basically a lot of people are okay with following this certain mindset of the group that they want to be a part of just because they want to be accepted by that group. So that's how toxic tribalism works. Another thing that contributes to cancel culture is anonymity. Anonymity is actually seen as a motivating factor. Even with all of these negative attitudes online, when people being cancelled go outside, they aren't actually lynched or hated as much as it may seem they are online. The freedom of anonymity makes it easier for an online user to express thoughts and opinions more comfortably without these thoughts directly influencing their own personal life. It's a beautiful thing about the internet, you know, like everyone has a voice of equal value in the community, and it's easier to meet people who share the same thoughts. But you know, the opposite can also happen, and it's also very easy to say very hateful and offensive things. It becomes easier to express more of those hateful views or even to harass others. Anonymity removes consequences when you do those actions, and a lot of people can engage in negative behavior without being held accountable, and it leads to unfiltered hatred. Bringing it back to cancel culture, when the ability to be attacked for your views is removed and a majority of people agree with you, cancel culture has more of a solid footing to be spread online compared to any other platform. I'm gonna be honest, honestly, even me, when I participated in some sort of a canceling trend. It involves this video game that I really love. It's called Valorant, and it happened during the VCTs. It was aimed towards a group of people, and even I would like to admit I had a personal, well, I didn't use my personal account. I used an account that doesn't have any of my face. It doesn't have anything that can directly link to my personal details. I was using an anime profile picture, for freak's sake. It was all because I know to myself that if I said the words that I was saying in the Twitter account and people link it back to me, I'm so gonna get canceled as well. So for me not to get those consequences, I wanted to take benefit. I wanted to exploit anonymity, being anonymous online, so that I can say those words without people harassing me in real life. So that's how anonymity becomes a motivating factor when it comes to cancel culture. So we've talked about cancel culture and the several factors that get into cancel culture. However, have you guys actually heard of someone that got canceled? Have you ever browsed through the internet and then suddenly an internet personality that you actually know of and look up to is getting canceled for something stupid that they've done online? If you haven't, then I'll introduce you to one today. And his name is Felix Kjellberg. You guys, I'm Filipino, and I think it's perfectly reasonable that I don't know how to say his name because he's Swedish. So, to make it easier for me and for you, I will call him by his popular name online called PewDiePie. So PewDiePie has been YouTube's #1 creator for the past 9 years, since 2013. I know, crazy, right? It's 2022 already. Oh my god, it's been 9 years. I am getting old. You may know of him from his gaming videos, his diss tracks, his reaction videos, and a lot of other things. However, if you didn't really like him in the first place, then you might have heard of him from the past controversies that actually surrounded his name back then. And it was also involved in his career and the almost downfall of his career. Two of what would be PewDiePie's greatest controversies happened in 2017, both of which involved racist remarks. The first happened during a live stream while playing a PUBG game where he actually said the N-word. And the second instance, and the one that really began a temporary downfall in his career, was in a video that he posted using the freelance website Fiverr. In it, he hired a pair of performers to hold up a sign that read, "Death to all Jews." I'm sorry if that seemed offensive, I'm just reading from this. However, let's continue on. This video prompted the Wall Street Journal to investigate his YouTube channel, where they found a total of 9 videos. 9 videos, Jesus Christ, posted within a year that featured Nazi imagery or anti-Semitic humor. Just to let you guys know, that's 9 videos within a year. That doesn't include the many years that came before 2017, and he's been on YouTube since God knows when. Alright, and he posted 9 in 2017. Can you believe that? Anyways, he apologized multiple times for both incidents, but it didn't do much to soften the blow of his cancelers. Because of how fast cancel culture works and word of controversy spreads, especially since it involves one of the biggest creators in YouTube, these incidents caused his shows, his interviews, and even a lot of opportunities to be shut down by bigger companies. Because Felix has such a large audience, which is 111 million subs, by the way, sana all. And this doesn't even include the viewers who aren't subscribed to him. You can expect how large of a scale canceling can be with him. With the aforementioned mob mentality and toxic tribalism, one slip of a racist remark in front of this audience nearly ruined his career. Being able to cancel someone as a large group, all the while remaining anonymous, gave the audience the power to really cancel Felix, and the same can be said for other public figures. So, despite all of these things, did we even observe some long-term effects that actually affected PewDiePie? You know, honestly, he still got a lot of exposure from all of those controversies. As I've said before, bad publicity is still good publicity. And even though a lot of these controversies, and in the middle of it was PewDiePie, he still got a lot of exposure from it, and a lot of people still learned about him, thus being curious, thus giving him views, and thus still him earning money. However, he became more cautious with his jokes and contents online, and he seemed to learn from each mistakes he made in the public eye. However, this should not change or even justify his actions and his past racist remarks. So, you've finally learned about Pewds. Congrats! If you haven't, then you're welcome. But to conclude all of these, I have two questions. In general, does cancel culture contribute to anything at all? In some ways, yes, actually. Because it brings to light certain things that should be called out, which also calls for accountability. But in some ways, also no, because it festers a toxic mindset that makes it seem like the cancelled person has no room for improvement. I am not invalidating how important cancel culture is. Sometimes it can truly be relevant in order to bring to light a lot of certain topics or call out certain individuals, or maybe even companies or even groups of people that have been certainly taking advantage of a lot of other people that are weaker than them. And that's how cancel culture can actually contribute to something. However, when people manage to exploit cancel culture and use it to their advantage and bring hatred towards someone that is actually innocent and all of those other things, I'm not saying that it often happens, but there's always a possibility that it can be exploited that way. If that's the case, then that's how cancel culture becomes less significant and more of a dangerous thing to even exist on the internet. Another question: if you are cancelled, does that mean you're a horrible person? Short answer is honestly both yes and no again. Yes, because sometimes being cancelled happens when you become irresponsible. If you become irresponsible on the internet and you said something stupid or even offensive or even hateful, then that means you were horrible in the first place. And do you really think you might have changed because of yourself? Or do you think you have the opportunity to change if someone called you out? That's how cancel culture actually works. That's how it becomes a beneficial thing. Because if people call you out on what you did, then that means you were a horrible person in the first place, and getting called out that way means you're being asked to be accountable and you should be responsible with your actions. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're an overall horrible person, because we're all human and we all make mistakes. Honestly, for me, I also got cancelled back on Twitter. I don't want to talk about that experience. It is very personal, but I have experienced a large-scale cancellation myself, and I am telling you guys, it was not pretty. I actually deactivated my Twitter account after that because I got so traumatized. But because of that happening, I managed to change myself, and here I am now a few years later. That's how I'm saying that we all make mistakes. We are all humans. We are all unique individuals by ourselves, and that also means that if we make mistakes, then we certainly have room for improvement, no matter what the basis of that cancellation is. Unless it's legally, morally wrong, like murdering someone or assaulting someone or harassing someone, then you deserve to be cancelled, dude. Jesus Christ. Jesus. Oh my god, you deserve to go to jail when you do something like that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment any topic you would like us to cover next. Like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Also, comment down below who you like better, me or Yvan. If you don't vote me. Anyways, bye. See you guys next time.